Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Zach Young, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're joined by Catherine Cooke, a UK-based divorce and co-parenting specialist who helps separating and divorcing parents protect their children from conflict while reclaiming their own calm, confidence, and sense of control. Drawing on more than 25 years of experience supporting families as a teacher, head teacher, and accredited divorce and co-parent coach, Catherine guides high-achieving women and parents through the decision to leave, the divorce process itself, and the rebuilding phase that follows. Catherine, a very, very warm welcome to Founders Future.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Going to be a great episode, a lot to dive into. Before we do, I do like to start with your background though. So before what you're doing now, and I know I touched on it previously, but could you walk us through what were you doing then and what was really your inspiration to get into this space?
Yeah, so I went through my own divorce about 15 years ago now, and it was a really awful time. It's a very difficult thing to go through. They say it's life's second most challenging life event after the death of a loved one to go through a divorce. So I found that time really difficult. But, I want to make that really positive spin on this, that actually it can be a very important growth period and you can learn a lot about yourself and it's not the end of the world. It feels like it at the time. But my son was only 4 at the time and I was obviously really worried about the impact on him. And I'm very proud to say that he's a fine young man of 20 now and doing really well. So I suppose that was my initial inspiration. But as you said, I've been in education for almost 30 years and I've seen the impact that divorce can have on children, because it can be a positive thing. If two parents are not meant to be together and it's very stressful and tense in the home, then it is a positive thing for a child not to be experiencing that any longer. But I've also seen it done really badly where the children are caught up in the middle. It's very stressful. It can really have a huge impact on them. So when I trained as a coach, I decided to niche into the area of divorce and co-parenting coaching, because obviously my education background working with children means that I can really help parents to understand how they can best support their children during this time.
Yeah. Love that. And just with your experience, I'd love to ask, and as a parent myself, just very curious, we see today kids are having a tough time, right? Mental problems among kids skyrocketing. With your experience, what do you think are the main causes of that? Why are our kids struggling more now than ever, it seems?
I think technology and social media have got a big part to play in this. They're kind of, attached to these digital devices, aren't they? And parents are extremely, extremely busy and, both off working, doing what they need to do to earn money and look after the home. And it's very easy for children to end up, being stuck on devices and things like that. And I think they miss out on some of the social aspects of being in a family or with their friends. So I think that has an impact on them. But I think just today's society is just so fast moving and there's this instant gratification and there's a lot of pressures on young people that it's easy to understand why they have a lot of anxiety and pressure on them.
I appreciate that. Diving into the business today, can you walk us through, what does working with Catherine look like? How do you work with them? Everything like that.
Okay, so I have a social media presence. I'm on most of the well-known platforms. So I give a lot of free advice on there. People can get in touch with me. They can download some of my free guides on how to support your children or how to deal with a difficult ex, those sorts of things. So they get in touch with me that way. And then through my email list, people can book a call with me. They can book a one-off call just to get some particular advice, or they can just have, if they've kind of looked at my programs and what I offer, they can have a free chat just to see if I'm the right person to work for them. So then I have I do workshops. I have some sort of mini offers throughout the year, but my main offer is my co-parenting roadmap, which is a 12-week program that sort of takes you through the steps of how to it's really about how to support yourself, because if you are being the best version of yourself, you are naturally going to be able to support your children in the best way. And it also talks about how to manage co-parenting even when your ex is a really difficult person and you may be in a bit of more of a high conflict situation. So alongside that program, that is some recorded videos and strategies and things like that, I work with my clients one-to-one as well, because you can give a lot, and this is part of the problem. There's a lot of advice and generic advice and tools to try that you can find on the internet, but actually it's about it's about you and how you're managing this situation and what are your barriers to coping with this. So that's why I offer that one-to-one support alongside the roadmap support that I offer. And so it's a 12-week program, but it offers 6 months support as well. So and I also have a divorce support package as well. But at the moment, I'm very much promoting my co-parenting roadmap, because I'm very passionate about supporting children in all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious, do you ever have couples do the co-parenting roadmap together, or excuse me, mothers and fathers doing that together?
No, I haven't had it as a couple. I would love it if a couple came and said, we really want to do the best for our kids and we want to do this, right? Can you work with us together? And I know there are parents out there who, do have that philosophy. The thing is, if they've already got that attitude that they want to do the best, then they probably don't need my support. They're probably doing a great job already. The sort of clients I work with it's usually one of the parents who is just really struggling with the dynamics of what's happening, and they're really worried about the impact it's having on their children.
Okay, that makes sense. So you mentioned, you're on social media, you have the free resources. Could you walk us through your social media strategy a little bit? Right? Is a lot of long form content, short form content, mix of both? What does that look like?
I do all sorts of stuff. So I'll do some quick tips. I do a lot of kind of belief shifting content, because there's a lot of stuff out there on the internet, and there's like, oh, try this method, try that method. And they're all valuable tools, but it's about trying to get people to understand that, you can have this wonderful plan, this is how we're going to look after our children after divorce, and you can have these methods, but it's about the emotional regulation and the way that one parent is coping with all of that. And it's that kind of support that people need. There's no magic wand out there that, if you just use the grey rock method or you just use the BIC method, it's going to solve all your problems. Or even if you have a really tight plan, a child arrangements plan, again, that is not going to solve all the problems. It will help, and it'll give a structure to things, but ultimately this is about working on you and how you're going to manage this situation, because ultimately you're going to be parents for the rest of your child's life, aren't you? You can sign the divorce papers and may not have to be married to that person anymore, but you're still going to be a parent.
Yeah, a lot to take in there. That's for sure. I've had a lot of coaches on the show. A lot of them, obviously, you love the warm leads, right? They've consumed your content. They know who you are. They know you, they like you, and they're comfortable with you, right? Those are great. I've had a lot of people express that sometimes, though, that can be a little inconsistent when it comes to kind of just, having clients come in. I'm curious on your perspective on that.
Yeah, and I think that's probably one of my biggest challenges, because I know over in the US, divorce coaches, co-parent coaches are quite a common thing. Over in the UK, it's a relatively new market. So for me, it's about getting that message across that there is another support out here. So when people get divorced over in the UK, they immediately think of going working with a solicitor or maybe a mediator, and they don't necessarily know that there's people like me that exist. And I passionately believe that the emotional support and the practical advice alongside the legal advice that you do need is absolutely vital to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible. because sometimes the legal side can actually make it more high conflict, and you've got to have that side. So yeah, getting my message across, getting those leads in, people knowing that this is something that they can get support with, and getting those predictable warm leads is a challenge, and especially because social media, it's so busy, there's so much out there, there's so much information to absorb. It's really hard sometimes to get your message across.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you're focusing on the UK market. Is that right? Just because it sounds a little untapped.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely promoting in the UK, but I'm very open to working with any. In fact, I have worked with people in the US previously, again because they're more au fait with that kind of support network. So, but in terms of any support that I do with divorce, it makes more sense that I'm working with people in the UK, because I know the UK divorce system. Again, I'm not giving legal advice, but I understand the system. But from an emotional perspective, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, divorce is hard, and I can support people through that process no matter where in the world you are. And again, co-parenting, again, you might have different ways of organizing child arrangement plans in the US, but the work that I do is around emotional regulation. It's about putting in boundaries. It's about how you manage these difficult situations and how you support your children as best you can when they're going from one home to another. And again, that doesn't matter whether you're in the UK or the US, there's still the same problems.
That's applicable to everybody. That's for sure. I am curious. I'm not familiar with kind of the UK system at all. Is the UK versus the US when it comes to, the divorce process, the legal system, is it quite different?
I think the actual process is, in terms of, how you apply and how long the process is. I don't actually know that much about the American system, and you've still got to divide your finances, and I'm sure there's still very similar processes for that. But yeah, the actual, I mean, even in the UK, we have a slightly different system in England and Wales and Scotland to what Northern Ireland do. So even in our small little islands, we have some differences.
Got it. Okay. But the motions, the logistics with the kids, those are all the same, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Got it. And I am curious about the future a little bit. Let's say the next 1 to 2 years. Are there any goals you've set for yourself in the business you're looking to achieve?
Yeah, so what is lacking, certainly in the UK at the moment, there are people like me that are offering support. There are services available to parents who are in very high conflict situations, but it's not readily available. And I think that, like I say, there's a lot of parents who don't know what exists out there. And I would love for my co-parenting roadmap to be one of the go-to methods that is recommended by legal professionals, schools, other professionals in that field, alongside some of the other wonderful offers that other professionals have, because it's about what's right for you in your situation. And I think if we could get our legal system and emotional support system in the divorce world in the UK to be more aligned, and we're getting there. People are kind of recognizing the value of divorce coaches and co-parent coaches, and seeing that these are people that can support their clients. We're not in competition, we're there to do the best for the children at the end of the day. Because certainly over in the UK, our court system is like bursting at the seams, and there's lots of delays in getting cases heard. And that's a lot of trauma for the parents involved and for the children. So yeah, I'd love for my offer to be recognised across the country and to be more available to people. And that means connecting with a lot of professionals. And these people are often very busy, so pinning them down to have a conversation with them is not always the easiest. So yeah, that's where I'm working on now.
Yeah, get the word out there. I love it.
Yeah.
Catherine, where can the listeners find you? Where can they connect with you online?
So I'm pretty much on all the channels. If you do Catherine Cooke co-parenting, you'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. and LinkedIn. They're my main channels. And my website is rightstepcoaching.co.uk. And you can book a free call with me. You can access some of my free guides on there as well.
Love it. Catherine, such a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much for your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that will wrap up another inspiring episode of the Founders Feature. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go and connect with Catherine on all of her social media and her website. All of those links will be in the show notes and description down below. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're looking to scale your business, and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.